Trump did a few things that nobody thought were possible in 2025, and one of them was to close off the H1B lottery. Starting from 2026, there won't be any H1B lottery. Instead, there would be something known as wage-based H1B selection process. Now, this is how it will work. USCIS is going to look at the applications and they are going to choose from the level 4 applications first. Then they will look at level 3, then level 2, and if at all there are seats left, then only they will look at level 1 wages applicants. What it means is that if you're filing your H1B with a wage level 1 or 2 in some categories, then your chances of getting picked up is very, very low. Now, many people have been panicking ever since this news came out, especially people who are going to study there, because what does it mean for people who are graduating? Does your chances go to zero? So I thought I'll make this video because the good news is that this is not a lottery anymore, which means it's not a random process. There is some logic to it. So if we understand this process more clearly, then maybe we can do a few things to improve our chances of getting selected in this process. What are some such things? That is what I want to cover in today's video. All this on the other side of the intro. Keep watching. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. First things first, H1B is going to be the most important news of this year, at least the first quarter, until everything goes into the lottery, and then we'll see how the system pans out. But if you want me to create more videos around this new H1B system, then please do comment below, because I do have a few things in mind that I want to talk about. But if you guys are interested, I'll definitely create videos around that. Now, today's topic is important. Let me repeat it. Like, H1B is no longer a lottery. It's a wage-based selection system, but unfortunately most Indian students are still playing it like old days. They are trying to go to a good college, get good GPA, do decent internships, optimize their resume, and then apply for generic tech jobs. But that strategy will not work, because you're not competing on merit anymore. You are competing on who is more expensive to replace. So basically USCIS is asking the question that for the same job role or title, which candidate is getting paid higher and they are going to get the H1B. So the question is not how do I find a job in the US anymore. The question is how do I design a career path that puts me in the higher wage bracket. And I think you can do some things to play this game. Specifically 4 strategies is what I want to talk to you about. And let me start with the first strategy. My first strategy is to pick roles where level 3 or 4 salaries are more realistic, or you can reach them at a faster pace. If you look at different job roles, you will notice that most of the software developer or engineer roles, the starting salary might be $70,000-$80,000, and it's difficult to climb the ladder more quickly. Also, if you are, as a fresher, if you're getting placed at an analyst level, the salaries would be lower, as opposed to an associate level where the salaries would be higher and it would be a slightly senior more role as well. And these roles are possible upon graduation. For example, when I graduated from UIUC, I was selected for this Advanced Technology Associate program on Wall Street at Citigroup, where we were at associate level, whereas many other engineers who were recruited from other colleges were at analyst positions and their salaries were lower than ours. So yes, try to get into those roles, industries where overall salaries are higher, because they would be closer to level 3 or level 4 wages. And this could happen in, of course, in AI, ML, fintech, quant researchers, hedge funds are paying insane salaries. So those are where a lot of high paying jobs would be available. You want to target something like that, as opposed to generically a very lower kind of a title where the salaries are much lower. Now you might say, Nistha, how am I going to find out which roles are going to pay a higher wage? So obviously for that you can go to Department of Labor website, put in the job title that you are generally looking at, and it will tell you what the level 1, 2, 3, 4 wages are for that particular job in a particular location. I would avoid positions where the wage levels are pretty low. My second strategy would be to choose employers which are open to filing at level 3 or level 4 kind of wages. So even within the same industry, for the same job functions, you will see that some companies tend to pay higher salaries to attract the right kind of talent. So obviously those are the companies you would want to prefer. I'm not saying it would be easy, they would be more competitive obviously, but it's worth doing this search and strategizing accordingly. For example, if you see that companies like Amazon, senior software wages can be around 185 to 200k plus, and these positions are open to fresh graduates as well, right? So if you're able to get that, then you have more peace of mind that maybe you will get easily picked in this new H1B selection process. At other firms, you can see sometimes data science or research firms, the median H1B wages might exceed 150k plus. And also, of course, whole finance industry, fintech, hedge funds, quant research positions, etc. They are typically getting very, very high salaries, which will be closer to level 3 or 4. So even within the same industry, I would look at some employer level data. And where can you find it? You can look this up on Sponsor Stats Wage Level Checker website or H1B Metrics website, because they list down employer title and city prevailing wage data. So you can get some inkling that this particular employer X is filing a lot at level 3, level 4 wages, whereas this other employer Y is filing mostly at level 1, level 2 wages. So you want to prefer employer X. So spend some time to understand this employer level distinction as well, and maybe target that in your job hunt. Third strategy would be specialization. So I feel specialization is the closest way to getting to level 4 more easily, because by definition, specialized roles are going to get recruited at a higher base salary, which is closer to level 3 or level 4 wages. And if you look at some functions, they typically do not even have a junior role. There you get entry directly at associate or a higher, like scientist kind of level, where they are going to pay you much higher salaries. This could be like, for example, I don't know, like definitely quant researcher, ML scientist, anything with a scientist, PhD kind of thing would have a benefit here. But also like, maybe advanced VLSI engineer, maybe cybersecurity architects. So those kind of specialized tracks can give you an advantage because there is no entry level role there. So if you get recruited, it might be harder to get recruited. But if you do, then it would be typically at a higher wage level, which can play to your advantage. So with the same skill set, if I'm doing a math degree, I can still go and become a software coder or data analyst, but I can also become a quant researcher at a hedge fund, and that quant researcher track is going to pay me higher because that's a more specialized track. So even in the same degree, try to get to a specialization that can fetch you more selective job titles and hence give you that advantage in the H1B selection process. And last tactic is, of course, to use location as a strategic advantage. So geography plays a big role because the prevailing wages differ a lot by city. So if you would see the level 1, 2, 3, 4 wages for Urbana-Champaign in Illinois versus that in New York City, they are going to be much lower. I'm guessing easily $20,000 to $30,000 of a difference would be there in the wage level. So level 3 in New York City might be 160k, but at level 3 in Urbana-Champaign probably wouldn't be more than 120 or 130k. So that's the difference between locations. For the same company, if they are placing you in New York City, they will offer you a higher wage level, which might help you get to that level 3 faster. So see how you can select location in a way that brings you closer to the prevailing level 3 wages for that location as well as for that job title. So again, you will have to do some data digging on Department of Labor website. By the way, I will be linking these website in the description box below as well. So look at the Department of Labor and see wherever you are more easily getting an offer, which is closer to level 3 or level 4, and that is where you want to file it from. I would definitely be mindful of location, especially because this is a remote and hybrid working era as well. I know many Indian students, although they're working in the US, but they are working as remote employees, or it's a hybrid positions. And if it's a remote employee, you are probably working from home and your location becomes your wherever you are residing. And if you're residing in Idaho, then that's where you are living, where I know the wage levels would be much, much lower. So look at the location thing and see how you can play that to your advantage. Okay, so those were my 4 strategies, and I would be interested to see how this year pans out, how this whole new process pans out. What does it mean for candidates, especially graduates like you? So yeah, do try them out. Give me feedback in the comments below. And also let me reiterate, your job is no longer to just find a job in the US. It is to find a job that can potentially put you in the level 3 or 4 category. And we have discussed some strategies to position yourself accordingly. Hope this helps. If you want more H1B content, do comment below. And I will see you guys next week with a fresh new video. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.